In 1893, I received an invitation from Mr. W.G. Barron, whom I had known in St. Augustine, to make a visit to Lufkin, where he lived at that time, with the idea of doing missionary work there. I made the visit on June 29, 1893, and talked with Mr. Barron and family, also with the family of Mr. R.B. Scherer, whom I had likewise met in St. Augustine. In consequence of this conference, I agreed to make a monthly visit from Nacogdoches, which was also in my charge. On my next visit, on July 27th, I baptized Mary Annie Mantooth Barron, then an infant. On my visit in August, I went up to the mill town of Clawson to visit Mr. Thomas Waitis and family, who were also church people. After this, I made monthly visits until October 1894. In all this time, services were held in various houses, the courthouse, the public school building, and finally a private school in charge of Mr. E.T. Tysinger. A small congregation adhered to the church and attended these services. On October 20th to 23rd, the Reverend C.M. Beckwith, General Missionary of the Diocese, held a mission in Lufkin, and considerable interest was aroused. More people attended the services, and others were interested in the church. On November 16th of that year, Bishop Kinsolving visited the mission in Lufkin and confirmed one candidate, Mr. William Lang. After this, regular services were held in the Tysinger School. During this time, opposition developed in the town against the church, chiefly among the older inhabitants who did not understand the church and her system. The services were held, notwithstanding, in an effort to gain the ear of the people through the year 1895. The effort proved to be in vain, and the opposition gained ground. On December 7, 1895, the bishop visited the church and confirmed one in private. On December 29th, I paid a last visit and was unable to hold service because every house was denied to me. After sitting down under some scrub oaks about where the public school now stands and meditating upon the vanity of human endeavors, I went away with a sense of failure and concluded reluctantly that I would be compelled to abandon the mission. I held a service there in June 1896 and visited church members in 1897, but the results were discouraging. In the meantime, 3 lots had been purchased from Judge J.M. Maroney in the eastern part of the town with the view of erecting a church building there at some time in the future. On September 28, 1903, at the invitation of several church members who had moved to Lufkin in the meantime, I held a service there and was encouraged to begin work again. The services were held by invitation in the hall of the Hoo-Hoo organization, a lumberman's society. Among the church members were the Humisons, William P. Sr. and Jr., Norris and Tom with their families, Mrs. G.A. Kelly, Mrs. Norman Belk, the Shearers, and several others. From this time until December 9, 1908, regular services were held. At first, we occupied the Hoo-Hoo Hall, but soon efforts were begun to erect a church building. 2 of the lots were sold, and a nest egg for a building fund was thus secured. The ladies of the congregation went to work with indefatigable zeal and raised a considerable sum, which was supplemented by subscription. And in 1906, a handsome frame church was ready for use. The furniture was made by a local firm, and the first set was lost in a fire which destroyed the factory, but a second set was made, and on December 1st, 1906, the church was consecrated by Bishop Kinsolving. The name of the mission at first was St. Mary, but owing to the confusion of the Roman Church having the same name, it was changed. I chose the name of St. Cyprian for the Bishop of Carthage, whose lot it was to carry on a controversy with the Bishop of Rome on one hand and the Donatist schismatics on the other. St. Cyprian was a member of a noble Roman family, born in Carthage, then a Roman colony, and he became Bishop of Carthage, where he suffered martyrdom in the year AD 258. The church continued to grow during this time. In 1905, I began to give the fifth Sundays when they occurred, in addition to the monthly evening services. In 1906, I was there for Thanksgiving, and in 1907 for Good Friday and Easter. Many were added to the church by confirmation, and many church members moved in. At last, on December 9, 1908, I was compelled to resign the charge of the church here and also at Nacogdoches, and devote myself wholly to the care of sickness in my family in San Augustine.